Hello and welcome to Exciting Teacher Training in 10. My name is Shannon and I am the founder of Exciting Teacher, a former primary school teacher who now works in children's mental health for the NHS. And in today's video, we're going to be exploring how to support anxious children to start tasks with confidence when in the classroom, because we all know that one child that really struggles with getting started with a task, but is okay once they get going. So let's get stuck into the training. I hope to keep you here no more than 10 minutes, and I hope you find it helpful. Let's first understand what is really going on when children are feeling anxious and why it is appearing in the classroom in the first place. So, anxiety is here to keep us safe from dangers. Although it can be very unhelpful, anxiety can also be very helpful and it warns us when there's a danger around us. It's the part of our brain where our brain's amygdala, the brain's emotional control center, is acting just to keep us safe, detecting danger, and then making us respond to that danger. The problem is, those dangers can be real or imagined, and they can trigger the fight, flight, freeze response reaction as well. The amygdala is like having your very own built-in smoke alarm, except it's a smoke alarm that can be a little bit faulty. And just like a real smoke alarm, it can go off when there's a real danger, i.e. when there's a fire, or we actually are needing to keep ourselves safe from what's going on around us. But also during a false alarm too, so like some burnt toast, or in the context of a classroom when we're asked to put our hand up, participate in a group, speak in front of our class, get started with a task that's making us feel quite overwhelmed and anxious. So it's kind of acting there, it's there to keep us safe, but sometimes it can be very reactive and unhelpful as well. And at the point in which anxiety is impacting on a child's ability to get started with a task, that's when we need to step in to support them with some of the strategies that we're going to be exploring today. What does anxiety look like in the classroom? So as a teacher, what are we looking out for on the day-to-day in our classroom? We need to be keeping extra attention for the children who are maybe freezing or pausing or not wanting to take part. Avoidance, so they're wanting to sharpen their pencil again or get a drink or go to the toilet because they're trying to avoid starting on the task that they've been asked to do. They might be using lots of negative self-talk, saying, I can't do it, or it's too difficult, or I don't know where to start. They may have a feeling of perfectionism, so I don't want to start it because it may not be perfect. So therefore, if I don't start it, I can never set myself up for that sense of failure that can come with that perfectionism. Tears or irritability, getting stressed, getting cross, getting argumentative, stomping their feet, walking away, pushing a chair into the table really hard, whatever it might be, throwing their pencil. These are all signs that children are feeling anxious about starting a task. And it's really important that we help children to navigate this so they can feel confident in being able to start the task, because actually we want children to realise that perceived threat, that fear of not being able to do something or get something right, is going to be okay if they just get started. And actually, that perceived threat may not come true anyway. The chances are they're going to be okay because we would have scaffolded, modelled, and set them up for that task as teachers, as that's just part of our educating kind of teaching responsibility anyway. So let's go into kind of how we now support children to actually get started with the task. So we've spotted the signs of what we're looking for when they're feeling anxious about getting started with that task that you've given them. Now let's move into how we actually support them. Strategy number one is arguably the most helpful tool that we can teach children to support them if they're feeling anxious about starting a task. And that is chunk it and then choose. So the idea is breaking down the task into small and manageable steps that feel much less overwhelming and much less anxiety provoking, instead of giving them the whole task to do at once. We can offer a simple step, and we can also offer micro choices within this if it feels necessary. So things like, here's your first step, and would you like to use a pencil or a pen to get started with this? Would you like to write it on a piece of paper in your book, or on a whiteboard and I can photocopy it? So we're giving children the choice, but we're also breaking it down to smaller manageable steps. So for example, step one is to write the date. Would you like to use your book or a mini whiteboard as an example that we're giving? It creates choice, which creates ownership, and those small steps reduce overwhelm, meaning that success can be felt more easily, confidence can build, and that self-esteem can really rise as well with time. So chunk it and then choose what you're going to do. Now we have a couple of approaches in the Exciting Teacher Hub linked to this. The Exciting Teacher Hub is all linked down below, but for our Plus members, we've got What's the Plan, which is like a now, next, later board, but also specifically a steps approach, which is about breaking down those steps into manageable chunks where they can move up through that ladder to progress with their task. I'm going to talk about it more in the next little bit, so let's get to it. Steps approach coming right up. Here is the STEPS approach. It's a signature approach in the Exciting Teacher Hub for our Plus members, and it's all around breaking down tasks into small and manageable chunks that children are actually able to do and achieve. So the idea is you break down a task, it might be getting ready for PE, and you break that down into smaller manageable steps that they can literally tick off as they move up that set of stairs to achieve that goal. So it might be get your PE bag and put it on your chair, take your shoes off, take your shoes and socks off, maybe pop them underneath your chair. The next step is to take your t-shirt off and put your PE t-shirt on and put your t-shirt back in your bag. So the idea is that we can just break down these really big, tricky, overwhelming tasks that is particularly difficult for children that are feeling anxious into steps that they can achieve and they can feel success in achieving. It's the idea of building independence, building resilience, building all of those skills and strategies that we need children to have, whilst also supporting the fact that it might be overwhelming them or feeling quite difficult. So giving them that real scaffolded approach to a task. You'll find this on the Exciting Teacher Hub. It's for Plus members only. So if you would like this strategy, make sure that you join as a Plus member. It's linked down below. There's a 30% off code down there at the moment. That 30% off code is not going to last forever, so definitely lock it in whilst you can. What do we know about anxiety? Well, it's contagious, but so is feeling calm. If one of us starts to feel a bit anxious, then all the people around us can also start to pick up on that sense of anxiety. Children can set each other off with their feelings of anxiety because if a particular child's feeling quite anxious or unsafe, other children can pick up on those or those cues that that child might be showing or saying. So it's just something to keep in mind. So we want to be modeling calm as the adult in the room. So our tone, our face, and our body language are all tools that we use to model calm. Ideally, when a child's not wanting to start a task, we want to be sitting alongside them, not across from them. We want to be using a soft tone and modeling calm breathing. We can do this. Let's do it together. Really model that positive self talk. Show them that you can do the first bit together. Let's work through it. Let's scaffold an example on your table. Use a whiteboard pen and actually write straight onto the table to give them that example. How about I write the first word and you finish the sentence? There's lots of ways of doing this, but by co-regulating, we're showing the child that it's okay, they can feel safe, it's all right to give it a try, it's okay if we make a mistake, it's all good. So we can be really modeling that sense of calm that they might just need to get them started alongside that kind of break it into chunks and then make a choice with that steps approach. You can also be adding on this new layer of co-regulating as well. And of course, we want to celebrate getting started. Of course, when a child starts a task, we want to be celebrating as soon as they get started with the praise, with noticing the effort, with really letting them know how proud you are that they've given it a try. Don't wait until they finish the whole task to praise them and be very specific with the praise because we know that getting started was the hardest part for them. So let's praise that. We want to be specific. So I saw you take a deep breath and get started. That's really brave because this is going to reinforce the effort and not the outcome that they're working on and builds confidence for next time as well. You're going to be picking up on all those strategies that you might have used to help get them started. So it might be, I noticed that you broke the task down into a manageable chunk, or I noticed that you practiced on your whiteboard before you wrote in your book, or I noticed that you took a deep breath. So really noticing what helpful coping tools and strategies they've used to help themselves to get started, or that you've supported them through co-regulation to get started with. And use visual cues like an effort spotlight card. These are available in the Exciting Teacher Hub, and this just notices when children have made an effort to try something. So this can be spotting a child for giving something a try and not necessarily kind of the end result, but we're acknowledging the fact that you gave it a try and I'm really proud of you for that. So we really want to be celebrating the actual getting started bit of the task, not the end result. The Exciting Teacher Hub is home to 700 plus resources, all linked to mental health, wellbeing, and emotional literacy skills, including the ones shown here. If you'd like to find these resources and access them, click on the link down below called Exciting Teacher Hub, and it's going to take you straight there where you can get started with using these resources in your classroom or home. Also in the Exciting Teacher Hub, but specifically for Plus members, just like the STEPS approach, we have the Wellbeing Nook, which is home to digital games, interactive whiteboard games, videos, guided mindfulness videos for children to grab and go to build all of these emotional literacy and emotional regulation skills that they will need to make successful adults. So if you'd like this, again, it's all linked down below. You're going to find it on the Exciting Teacher Hub. Just go for the Plus option if you'd like access to the Wellbeing Nook when you get there. Thank you for watching this Teacher Training in 10 video. I hope you found it helpful, and next time you have a child in your class or home who's really struggling to get started with a task because they are feeling too anxious to start, then think about chunking it down into manageable steps, co-regulating to support them with that sense of calmness and I can do this and I can approach this tricky task, and then celebrating getting started and emphasizing the effort that they put into kind of that process of really getting started with the task. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Shannon. I am the founder of Exciting Teacher, and I hope you found this helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, let a friend know about this video so we can continue spreading the word about Exciting Teacher's mission. And yeah, I hope to see you back here real soon.